So there is an absolute ton of new information coming out about the Nintendo Switch 2 this morning, currently April 7th, 2025. And I'm doing my best to compile as much of it as I can in, kind of single videos, but at the same time without making like 1 hour long videos. So I do apologize for that. We're going to be talking about kind of like supply and stock, especially for the US for the Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. In this video, probably a little bit of a shorter video. I also covered on, why is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or not Deluxe, sorry. Why is Mario Kart World $80? Why is the Nintendo Switch 2 the price that it is, $450? There was a bunch of articles that I read through in a different video regarding that. So if you're interested in that, check that out. It is a lengthy video. It's 20 minutes almost long. I have timestamps in that video because there is a ton of information. I wanted to be as thorough with you guys as possible. So if you do appreciate that kind of content, please do consider leaving a like, subscribe for more, share with your friends and all like that so we can continue growing the channel as we move into Nintendo Switch 2. And if you don't like anything about the content, please do let me know what you dislike so I can improve the content in the future. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So there's an interview, a video interview actually at that. It's pretty lengthy. It's about 18 minutes long, covers a bunch of different topics. Basically, there's a part specifically I want to talk about which has to do with stock and different things like that. And this is Nintendo of America's president, Doug Bowser, who was in an interview with CNBC, and he was, kind of asked, about stock, and the interviewer was asking, like, is this going to be sort of like another, Wii situation or PS5 even, where, there was just like hard to get any kind of units to people that wanted some for months and months and months. And no, it seems like, they've really worked ahead of time to kind of stockpile Nintendo Switch 2 units, so they have a really good amount. And we heard this, by the way, like even like months before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, or I can't remember, weeks, whatever it was. Nintendo kind of mentioned something about this, that they're stocking up so there's enough stockpile. But it's also worth noting that, while Nintendo didn't share any kind of specifics or whatever, Doug Bowser did say that there are already units stocked up in the US. There's already units that have touched down in the US. They're already there, kind of stocked up, ready to go for launch day, and that's still like 2 months away. So they're already shipping these things out, and again, there's already some within the United States itself. This is basically what Doug Bowser said in this interview. I'll give you sort of like the quote. Just kind of the tidbits, if you will. So they've been working hard to stockpile enough units for the platform's global launch. What Doug Bowser said is that they've had some time to build up inventory on a global basis, and he says that we really hope that we can meet demand at launch, right? He says we hope because, of course, they don't know how much demand is necessarily going to be there until it's there, until people actually start pre-ordering and buying this thing and whatnot. So they're not going to really know that until June 5th actually rolls around. Go Nintendo, they said, in other words, you should have a good chance of snagging the system for launch, but none of us will feel 100% safe until we have our pre-order secured, which is true. So it sounds like it's definitely going to be more stock, I would assume, than previous consoles, at least for Nintendo consoles. It sounds like there's probably more than what Nintendo Switch may have had, and then Nintendo Switch I don't think struggled too hard with stock. I was able to get a pre-order pretty easily, if I recall correctly. PS5, on the other hand, that was a nightmare. I got one, thankfully, but a lot of people were not able to even buy one for months. It was bad. It was really bad. So this could go either way, but it sounds like everything's good. Nintendo's really making sure that they're stockpiling units, and they kind of really plan this ahead of time to make sure that they do have a lot of units available. They kind of anticipated, the demand potentially. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. Obviously, there's the whole pricing thing too, and with the tariffs and Nintendo basically said, I'll give you a quick summary, but you really should just watch the whole video because way more details and thoroughness. Essentially, they were saying, with the whole tariffs situation, like any company, they're just assessing the situation. They're kind of, trying to see, where's this going to go? Because this can go a few different ways, right? They are reciprocal tariffs, meaning that, if the countries that they're imposed on kind of cave, and I think Taiwan is trying to make a deal with the US, which is one of the places where the Nintendo Switch 2 is being produced. I think China and Taiwan are the two places. Then of course, what's going to happen is, you know, everything's going to be good. They're going to reopen up pre-orders. There's not going to be a price increase. Honestly, I think it's more likely that there's not going to be a price increase. People are freaking out at things for headlines like, oh, the price is going to get increased. I don't expect that. I really don't expect that. I expect that, you know, everything's going to work out. The countries that the US are imposing tariffs on, they're going to find a way to make a deal with the US, and that hopefully the US is going to be good on pricing. So, well, I'll keep you guys up to date on all of that, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you plan to try to pick a Nintendo Switch 2 up at launch? And are you trying to plan to get some pre-orders? Again, pre-orders open up for the rest of the world in a couple days on the 9th. If you're in the US, stay tuned for that, for whenever the new date is going to be for pre-orders for the US. So if you enjoy this kind of content, stick around for more. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, game on. Catch you guys later.